So my name is Wautelet, and I'm a system engineer at the University of Namur, and I'm in charge of the HPC infrastructure management of the whole HPC cluster. So our HPC cluster at Namur is part of the CC, and the CC is in fact the equivalent of the VSC for the French part of Belgium. And I'm very pleased to present you an overview of Ansible Lightspeed. Alors, sorry. Oops. What is Ansible? Close. Okay. First, what is Ansible? So Ansible is a free open source configuration management, a software automation project. Its main objective is to configure IT resources in a reproducible way. It is a configuration tools used mainly to configure a production environment like server for initial configuration. And Ansible automates complex configurations and ensuring system consistency without manual intervention. This tool was created in 2012 and is now owned by IBM. It's quite easy to use and lets you manage IT resources from workstation to high-end servers. On the server side, it only requires SSH and a minimal Python installation. As a HPC user, you can use this kind of tools to set up your user environment of different remote clusters, for example, and Ansible, in fact, widely used for deployment and configurations. Ansible is only available on Linux and macOS, and there are several ways to install it. On this slide, you will find the standard installation procedure for Debian-based distribution and for Red Hat-based distribution. And you can see the procedure is quite simple, and you will need root access only to install the packages. If you don't have root access, for example, if you want to set up your home directory remotely on a HPC cluster, you can also install it on a virtual env, on a Python virtual env. It is also useful if you want to install several versions of Ansible. And installing several versions of Ansible, it's quite useful if you want to test your playbooks, your Ansible code with the latest version, but without losing the initial configuration. So here, as you can see, it's quite simple to install it. You can do that on your workstation, for example. Okay. So once installed, you define the host you wish to manage with Ansible. It is called the inventory, and it is the list of the host name of the manager server. Here, in this case, I've taken the 4 CC clusters, and Ansible uses the standard SSH configuration, so you can, for example, use the option such as proxy jump to configure a server behind a firewall. So you will be able to configure server behind remotely from your home, for example, even if there is a firewall. And in addition to the use of the SSH, Ansible also allows more complex configuration for inventory, such like group, relationships, etc. Before playing with Ansible, let's look at the anatomy of a playbook. An Ansible playbook is written in YAML and is made of one or several plays. And a play is just a list of tasks which be applied to an host or a group of hosts. And the task is the small unit of action you can automate. Okay, so you can have, for example, a task to creating a directory on the remote server for installing a package, but you can also have a task for set up an instance of a public cloud, for example, on AWS. There is such like, it is possible with Ansible. Let's write our first Ansible playbook. For example, let's configure my home directory on the 4 CC clusters. This is a very simple example that uses 2 Ansible modules. The modules file to create file or directory on remote server, and synchronize just to copy the content from your local workstation to remote server. There, as I said before, there are also modules for advanced setups like configuration management of instance on private or public cloud like AWS, GCP, DigitalOcean, and something like that. Let's say if it runs. Okay. First, we have to activate the virtual env and then run the Ansible playbook command. This is a very simple playbook that we create a simple remote create a directory on remote server cluster, and then we copy just a directory tree on the remote server. The thing with Ansible is that Ansible is idempotent. That means that if we run the playbook several times with the same set of inputs, you should not expect any change on the remote server. Here, there is an example. I will rerun the same command, and you will see on the end that no change will be made on the remote server. So you can run several times, it will change anything. Now we have seen the Ansible capabilities. Let's see what AI can do to improve your efficiency to write Ansible codes. So Ansible Lightspeed is in fact for the moment only in VS Code extension. And it uses natural language processing to convert a task description into an Ansible task. So to install it is quite simple. You just open VS Code, you search for the Ansible extension, then you go to the configuration, and you have to enable Lightspeed, and Lightspeed is not enabled by default, so you have to enable it explicitly. And to use Lightspeed, you need to have a GitHub account. So you connect to your GitHub account, and you sign, etc. Yes, you log in, etc. And you authorize Lightspeed for VS Code. And now Ansible Lightspeed, it's enabled on VS Code. Here is a small example of how Lightspeed can be used. So you can see once configured, it's easy to generate code. So you just type the task description. Here is an example to set up a workstation. So I want to install Google Chrome on my workstation, on several workstations in fact. And so I just type the task description, and then Ansible Lightspeed will automatically generate the Ansible code. So if you are happy with the code, you type tab, and the code is generated. Now, Ansible Lightspeed, in fact, use all your code to help you generate the code. So if you have used variable, some kind of previously set up other tasks, it will automatically use that to generate proper code. So, like many AI tools, Ansible Lightspeed is a game changer in the IT automation. Personally, I use it every day to write the infrastructure code for the cluster I manage. But unlike other AI tools, it in fact is designed for Ansible. So it excels at generating Ansible code that respects best practices, and that it can save you a lot of time to automate repetitive tasks. And also, the Watson behind, it used Watson, and Watson behind used that more users use Ansible, more good at generating data. And the best part, unlike other tools like Copilot, it's free to use. And here you can find some resources, and for Ansible and for the Lightspeed documentation.